Well, welcome back. Here in the secondary studio, it is I, Eric Arnold, not in the sports barn tonight, the darkest hours of the night here on Saturday morning, the 27th of February. We skipped yesterday, just a bad Thursday, and I was just, A, tired, and B, depressed, or C, angry. I'm not sure which. There was I told you the 5 stages of grief, and, I just skipped bargaining, denial, acceptance. I mostly just skip all that and just go with depression and anger. That's pretty much where I'm at right now. So another shitty night. We thought we were going to win. We didn't. The pandemic drags on. Let's see. I made some notes here to try to keep me in order. I noted we had a new subscriber. Say hello to Michael Gunkel. He is the newest magnificent bastard. Welcome, Michael. Salute. Thanks for joining. We'll try to get you some winners here for Saturday. We got 19 games here. 19 games for Saturday. And it's not, Mississippi Valley State versus Delta State. It's the big games, the TV games, the guys that are going to make the tournament. So we're trying to give you what you want, give you action, at least you know what to feed, and so you should be all good to go. The big EO meter, do I have that up there? He's showing that we're solidly below 500. But, we're volume shooters here in the barn, so, we're hoping for one good day that'll shove us back over 500. Over 500. I don't think we have been over 500 for this entire season, so, but I don't think we're way off. I know how crazy that sounds, but I honestly don't think we're way off here with our handicap. And, let's cover what happened Thursday night. Let's get to that before we get to, we'll hit this fast. I know you don't really, just for mostly my, records. We were 7 wins, 9 losses, 1 tie, 17 games. So, 7-9. That's only going to make the playoffs in the NFC East. It's not good enough anywhere else. So, loser. But, we started out with 2 winners in the MAC. I think we're doing okay in the MAC. I think our record actually is probably above 500 in the MAC. We got exactly what we wanted there with Central Michigan. That was a nice, coast game for Buffalo. That huge revenge underdog, if you will. And then, the Valley. I think we're done with the Ohio Valley. I don't want to hear the words Morehead State. I don't want to hear the words Tennessee Tech. I don't want to hear Ohio Valley. No mo. No mo. We don't want no mo Valley. The Valley of Death. We don't want any. We lose with Tennessee Martin. We lose with Tennessee Tech. The big games we did okay in, I think. Michigan, we got that right. We were right that Gonzaga was going to basically coast against Santa Clara. We were right that Houston, I don't know if I'm right on this, but I think I'm noticing something here with these teams coming off the big COVID layoffs. The 3-week pause. We're all basically done with that now, and God willing, we're never going to have to deal with this ever again. But you probably will in like baseball, and I don't know how it translates to baseball. But anyway, it seems like these teams come out, they play well for about first 15, 20 minutes, and then they just wear out. And that's what happened there with Western Kentucky. They were down a point at half, and then Houston just blew them out in the second half. I think these teams coming off that long layoff just they don't have their legs. They're not in basketball shape, so they just wear out. Too bad we didn't know that, 3 months ago. I'm sure a lot of you did because you're not stupid as I am. But, oh well. Let's see. Then the Horizon tournament, that sucked. We didn't do well in that. We had one win, one tie, and two losers. I still, I went over these games and I'm like, I'm not too unhappy with this. I don't know. I think probably the only game I would have changed is that Minnesota game. That's the only one I probably would have changed. Where I regret the team I was on. In that, I said, well, Minnesota needs this game. Minnesota's just kind of falling apart. Now they've lost Kalsher. He's one of their key players, and I don't know they've got the horses to replace him. The other key guy on that team is Marcus Carr, and I think he's just wearing down. He plays a lot of minutes, and I think he's just wearing down, and he can't carry the load all by himself. So I regret that one. I kind of wish, Boise State, bad luck, just bad luck. I mean, we lose in overtime. I mean, we're getting 6.5 points. We're going to cover, and the game ends up a tie. Now we got to play 5 more minutes, and Boise State just forgets to score in overtime, and we lose. Shit, it's just bad luck. Michigan State, we were right about that one. That looked like Ohio State was going to get that game, and Michigan State just would not go away. I think, did Holtman get kicked out of that game? I have a habit of watching these games with the sound off because I'm often doing something else at the same time, and I, can't be totally distracted by the ball game. So I think I had the sound off, and I kind of think he got kicked out there with like 1 second to go. Basically, his final salute to futility. I'm out of here, and there he goes. So that was kind of funny. I'm a bad Ohio State alum. I was rooting for Michigan State. I needed that win to make me feel better. So I'm a bad fan. Had the game really meant something for Ohio State, I guess I probably would just wouldn't have played the game. I would have, or picked Ohio State just to not divide my loyalties. So 7 wins, 9 losses, shit, But we think we got winners here for Saturday. Wanted to hit one thing here, and I don't want to hit this too hard, but I'm gonna start hitting this again and again and again, and you're gonna get sick of it. But too bad. A number of people have been, sending me articles and little news nuggets. I guess basically trying to make me feel better because I've made it pretty clear how unhappy I am with these lockdowns, with the never-ending virus, the thing that's going to last forever, telling me, well, now, they're letting fans back in Madison Square Garden. There were fans there tonight. The bars are now going to be open till 2 a.m. in South Carolina. Okay, that sounds good. I mean, the University of Texas has said now that they're going to have a full stadium, no questions asked, to start the 2021 college football season. So, okay, that sounds great, and I'm with you. I hear you, and believe me, I appreciate anything you send me like that. If you're trying to cheer me up or make me feel better, I'm not going to dissuade you from doing that. Go ahead, try to make me feel better. I can use all the cheerfulness I can get right now, but I'm still of the position that, as I told my mother-in-law, she said, when do you think this is all going to be over? When do you think this is going to be over? And I said, it's going to be over when you demand it be over and not before. And I still believe that. If you think that the government's going to lift all these lockdowns without a huge public outcry, an uprising, basically, I just think you're crazy. They're not going to do that. They're just going to leave it the way it is. Well, no one seems to be upset about it. We'll just leave it like this, plastic in the schools and social distancing everywhere, and everyone wears a mask forever. Yeah, we'll just leave it like that. I mean, no one seems upset about it. What? We can't even get this damn vaccination here in Pennsylvania. I mean, we, like 1A people, I know a number of 1A people that are supposed to get it right now, elderly people and whatnot, and they can't even get it. It's an outrage. And I'm basically, looking around going, am I the only one that's pissed off about this? Am I the only one that's angry? So, yeah, hey. All right, number next. Let's go to the Saturday picks. Oh, let's see. Let me pull them up here so I can. There they are. Alrighty. Alright, the chronological order subscriber F. This first game, I mean, this is kind of a knockout game, a playoff game, if you will, in the ACC. And I went around and around with this one. I took probably an hour on this game. And after that, it was kind of like, okay, if you're going to get this video up before tip-off at noon, you better hurry up. So, we took a long time with this first game, so I don't know if that means there's a better chance of it being right or not. But both teams got a path to the tournament. You get the old guy versus the young guy as far as coaches go. I don't know, I just think things are starting to come up roses here for Georgia Tech. Did you see that the NCAA is now lifted some of the penalties against these guys? I mean, how often does that happen? I mean, so, I'm just thinking it's an era of good feeling around the Georgia Tech team right now. This is a team I think that's playing pretty good at home, pretty well at home. Syracuse has not played that well on the road this year. Syracuse really looked bad against Duke. They did not look good at all. And I've always just had this, thing for teams where the coach is coaching his son. His son is on the team. And he's not the ball boy either. He's like one of their best players. I think I saw a blurb in the internet that Boeheim, after the Duke game, called out two of the best team players on his own team in the media. Guess who did not get called out? His son. I'm thinking that's got to cause some dissension in the locker room, I would think, but who knows? Anyway, we think Georgia Tech here. I don't think that's a hateful price. -4 at home. In Georgia Tech, we think that's a team that's getting better. There you have it. All right, number next. I don't know. We just didn't overthink this one too much. I don't think much of that Tennessee team, but I kind of think Auburn's falling apart. They did a season of promise. Sharif Cooper leaves, and they weren't playing well when he did leave, and now I just think it's falling apart for them. So we'll just do what everybody else is going to do, which is take Tennessee. Texas Tech, I thought, all right, this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. I've been burned all season long with Texas Tech. As I said in a previous video, I think they play hero ball. Mac McClung is going to try to get his, and it just hasn't worked for these guys. They probably have the worst against the spread record in the Big 12. 8 wins, 15 losses. Well, Texas seems to be, despite the fact their backcourt wants to kill each other, they do seem to play some team ball. So, let's put it this way. If they didn't play team ball, they would have never had to fight to begin with. In other words, that one kid would have just said, well, my teammate doesn't seem to be playing defense. And this kind of pisses me off, but I'm just not going to say anything because I really don't care. So, just the fact that they're having a fight at all seems to me that they're playing some kind of team ball. So, we're going to go ahead here and take Texas on the road. Another team we think's falling apart is Indiana. Michigan just seems like a machine right now. I don't know. I want to get in front of that machine. I don't want to try to pick the place where Michigan's going to take a break. And they've beaten Indiana, I don't know how many times in a row. I looked it up. It was a lot. It was more than 5. So, I think that Michigan's just going to do what they always do and squash Indiana. Let's see. We threw a MAC game in here. You got me there. Okay, I got it. I know what we were doing here. Central Michigan, they just had that nice cover for us against Buffalo where they were about 20-point underdogs. I think now they're done. They had a nice little, feel half decent about ourselves game. And now I think they're done. I think they'll be the ones that are going to just, throw their shoes on the court. Ball State's actually playing better. This is a team that's on a roll. This is a team that's playing well. This is a team I think is building towards the MAC tournament. They played all good teams in this past 6 to 8 weeks in the MAC. They've played all good teams in the MAC. And now here finally they get a tomato can. And, I think this is going to be a nice spot for Ball State to, just get out there and have some fun and beat the shit out of Central Michigan. So that's the thinking there. Wisconsin, Illinois, the Sumo, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. He won't play. He broke his nose, right? I guess I saw the Illinois sports writer was mad about that, that the Michigan State thugged it up. It's like, what? Did you just join the Big Ten? That's what they do. And no one's been too upset about it until now. I mean, it just is. This is the Big Ten. Illinois doesn't really need this game. I mean, they're in. They're just, it's just a kind of marking time until they try to, ramp up for the big run in the tournament. So, I think Wisconsin needs this game a lot more than Illinois does. Wisconsin needs to start playing better if they're going to do anything in the tournament. So, we're going to take Wisconsin here. Big game in the A10. Davidson. They just had a bad double loss to St. Bonaventure. I think they're mostly out. They would have to almost run the table, win the A10 tournament to get in. This is not an A10 tournament game, so this is the last regular season game. So, Davidson loses this game. I don't think it really matters to them. They still have to win the A10 tournament. Whereas VCU is still on that possibly where they can get in as an at-large team. I believe right now they're in as an at-large team, but if they step on their dick here against Davidson, that would hurt. That would hurt their at-large chances. So I think VCU's probably the best team in the A10. Am I forgetting somebody? There's some good A10 teams. I saw them against Dayton and I was impressed. I thought, we had Dayton, obviously. We wouldn't have had the right team, of course. But I thought, wow, look at these guys. They share the ball. They're playing together. They just won a big game against St. Louis without their best player, that Highland. I guess he's back, supposed to be back for this game tomorrow. So I think we only have, that can't be right. I've got that wrong, I think. I've got VCU as the underdog. Is that right? double checking. Bear with me. VCU's the underdog. Well, I really think we're in the right place. So, yeah, absolutely. We'll take VCU there. LSU Arkansas. LSU blew out Arkansas earlier in the year. So LSU could definitely play with Arkansas. Arkansas is really playing well right now. I mean, they've really hitting their stride. But, they just had this huge emotional win over Alabama. I have no data to back this up, but I kind of think that if you can find an emotional game, maybe then you want to fade that team coming out of that emotional game. What's an emotional game? Well, people getting kicked out of the game. John Petty got kicked out for Alabama. I looked at that box score, and of course I had Arkansas, so, I'm thinking, well, this is a good game. I don't detect anything, amiss as far as the refereeing. Arkansas shot like 40-some free throws, and I think Alabama shot 8. No wonder people are getting kicked out. It's like, who's refereeing this game? Stevie Wonder? So, I just think that Arkansas is just going to maybe take a little mental break here. They are going to have to bring their A game if they intend to beat LSU again. I don't think they're going to have it. I think LSU's playing well right now. I'll take that 5 points. I'll take LSU. All right, let's see. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. That's another one. I'm like, I did this in the wee hours of the morning, or as the Stove the Hobo says, the darkest hours of the night. And I'm just rechecking my work here because some of these numbers look wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. I knew that was wrong. All right, I'll correct that before I put the slide up. It's a 5-point spread. In my notes here, I've got it at 10. It's 5. Oklahoma is a 5-point favorite. And, we're going to take Oklahoma State. Just, I think I like the way that team's playing. Maybe they'll, I don't have a lot more for you other than I just like the way they're playing. All right, what else? Next slide. Well, here's a team that's not playing well, and I don't love this game, Wake Forest. But it's kind of a breather game for Virginia Tech. They're not playing that well either, so kind of think that this is one of these big double-digit dogs in conference, and we're just kind of hoping that Virginia Tech takes it lightly, and we lose by 9. I don't have a lot more for you other than that. Threw a SoCon game in here just because I know, this is one of those big sandwich games we had on, Thursday or Wednesday, Tuesday, something like that. But Greensboro just dumped to Western Carolina. Greensboro is the second place team in the SoCon. They've got a chance to tie or win the regular season title, and they lose to Western Carolina. You screwed up. So they still have a chance to win the title because the team they're chasing is Furman. Furman has a real tough game with Wofford. That's a 50-50 game, could go either way. So, but Greensboro's got to win their game, obviously. So we think they're going to do it. We think they're just going to bounce off of that terrible game against Western Carolina and get it here against it. East Tennessee State. They're nothing special. I noted, we had them earlier in the year, I think, against Chattanooga, lost. Chattanooga's beaten them twice. Greensboro's beaten Chattanooga twice, so I'm just thinking Greensboro's better. And it's a pick'em, so, how can we go wrong? I'm sure we are, but how can we go wrong? All right, big game ACC, Florida State, North Carolina. We were so impressed when North Carolina just destroyed Louisville, and then they just turn around and dump to Marquette. It's kind of like, who are you, North Carolina? I mean, what are we doing here? I don't know. I guess let's not make this too complicated. We just think Florida State's the best team in the ACC. They're going to a team that's not that particularly great, and they're only a 3-point favorite. So I think there's some value there. I mean, I'm sure at some point Florida State will throw a clunker. Will it be here? Maybe. But they're better than North Carolina. I'm pretty confident in saying that. So we'll lay the 3. This is your classic look ahead, huge underdog game here. Kansas State, West Virginia, and we've had basically no luck whatsoever fading Bob Huggins this year. He's been sticking it up our nose all year long. But I mean, if we were ever going to fade the guy, here he's got Kansas State. They're no good. Although they're playing just a little bit better now. I mean, I think they've won a couple games, against bad opponents. But a win is a win, particularly in the Big 12. So, Kansas State might be a live dog. West Virginia is looking ahead to Baylor. They got them next. So, big game. So, this not a big game, at least for West Virginia. So, that's where we're thinking they'll just kind of coast, and Kansas State will hang in it. Well, let's see what's next. Oh, interesting. Here's another real interesting game: Florida and Kentucky. Kentucky, are they back? Are they back? I mean, look at these guys. What have they won? Like 3-4 in a row now, and they're 8-13, and they're a 2.5-point favorite at home against a team that's pretty solidly into the tournament in Florida. I think we just got to take a shot here with Florida. I think Florida is playing well. Kentucky hammered Florida, oddly enough. It's one of the few teams they've beaten this year early in the season. I kind of think that first game might have just been a little bit of an aberration in that Florida, still maybe reeling from the loss of one of their best players. Had the Hank Gathers episode where he just collapsed on the floor. That's pretty shocking. But now I think they're over that. They're playing well. Kentucky still needs to win the SEC tournament. And if they lose this game, that's not going to change that. In other words, this game really doesn't mean anything to Kentucky. They want to win it just because they need to keep playing well and, get themselves geared up for the SEC tournament. But Florida kind of needs to put another couple W's on the board because they have some half-decent opponents coming up. And, if they don't pick up some wins, they themselves could be, tournament questionable. So, to me, it almost seems to me that Florida, this might be a spot where they need this game more than Kentucky. And if Kentucky's just going to go out there and throw their shoes on the court, Florida's going to kick their ass. So we're going to stick with Florida here. I wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I could do easily a whole video on when to bet. Yeah, I think if you believe you're on the the minority, if you will, you want to bet as close to game time as possible because the number's going to, go up. It's going to come your way if you wait. So I'd wait here and try to catch Florida. That number might end up at 3 or 4. It's Kentucky. I would think it's going to be a pretty heavily bet team tomorrow. Anyway, we'd take Florida. Creighton, Xavier. I like that Creighton team. That's basically what we're doing here. I just like that Creighton team. Xavier, they're rapidly playing themselves out of the tournament. I mean, Xavier definitely needs this game more than Creighton, but they're just not playing well. So, yeah, and Creighton's coming off a pause. I think, if I'm, is his name Greg McDermott, the coach at Creighton, I'm thinking, look, we need to grease some people here, get everybody back in a rhythm, so, we're good to go tournament time. This ain't no time to coast. So I'm thinking Creighton will come out hard here. So we'll take Creighton. Here we go. Here's your Duke game. Here you go. Duke, Louisville. Is Duke back? Are they now? They're on the edges of the tournament. They've won, 3-4 in a row. They just smashed Syracuse, of where, of course, we were on Syracuse. We always have the right answer like 24 hours after the game's over. They could just let me bet on that basis. I'd be good. But I guess they won't. Louisville, I don't know what to make of that team. And it's, I think it's a young team, and I think they're going to have trouble with Duke. I just think Duke they looked machine-like against Syracuse, and I'm just kind of thinking, is it a trap? I mean, you're waiting for these teams to revert back to what they were 6 weeks ago, where, Duke seemed like they could lose to anybody, that they played no defense, and, they lost to Miami, for Christ's sakes. They lost to Notre Dame, for Christ's sakes. So, I don't know. We're just going to say that day's over. The Duke is now hitting its stride, and we think they're going to handle Louisville, lay the 5.5. We're going to fade Alabama coming out of that emotional game against Arkansas. People, like I said, getting kicked out. I think Mississippi State is, it's a sneaky good team, and I think Mississippi State is going to be up for this game. Here you got the big, the SEC champions coming in. Well, they're not champions yet, are they? That might be that could be a flaw in our thinking here. But as far as that goes, Mississippi State still has a path to the tournament, and we think this is a team that's starting to get better. So. They got to get this game, though. So this could be a hard-fought game. We're going to go ahead and take the points. This is another one. I'm sure we're all by ourselves on this one. I would imagine the whole world's going to be on Alabama, but we'll try to, be the sneaky contrarian here and hit with Mississippi State and the 6 at home. Another one where I guess we're probably, I don't know what we are here. Where the money is going to be on this game. I guess I just decided after USC just shit on themselves and us as we were with them Thursday night. It's like, screw that team. Screw these guys. There's a reason USC hasn't won a Pac-12 title in forever. They fade at the end. It doesn't matter what kind of talent they have. They didn't show up at all against Colorado. And now they're coming back 48 hours later, and, this is a nice, real soft spot for them. This should be an easy win. But I don't think it will be. I mean, Utah has, crazy good numbers at home under Larry Krystkowiak, and that's a tough place to play. So they're coming off a bad loss against UCLA. UCLA went in there and whipped them. So I'm kind of thinking, you might get a real hard effort out of Utah in this deal. We'll take the 5.5. I kind of think everybody's going to be on USC, but we'll try with Utah. And then, here you go, the big game, best for last. Baylor, what are they, 5-point favorites? Yeah, that's right, 5-point favorites at Kansas. If we remember earlier in the year, Baylor beat Kansas pretty easily down in Waco. Kansas covered on the miracle banked in 3 by the walk-on at the end of the game. I don't know. After having watched Kansas against Texas, it's like, oh man, I mean, it's just a completely unimpressive team to me. And yeah, to me, if I'm Baylor, I've still got a pretty good hard on for Kansas. I've got a really, really good team, and this is our year to be the big deal, the big story. And I sure as hell don't want to go up there to Kansas in an empty arena. I mean, there's no Fog Allen mystique here. It's basically an empty building. I don't want to go up there and have my magical season ruined by those guys that always win, that always get the calls, that always are the talk of the Big 12. We're the best team now. This is what I'm telling myself if I'm in that Baylor locker room. Let's go prove it to those guys. Let's kick their ass and make them remember, this Baylor team. So, plus I think Baylor's just way better than Kansas. So, I think if Baylor plays any kind of decent game at all, they easily win this game. So that's what we're thinking there. We're going to lay the points and take Baylor on the road. There you have it. There you have it in the wee hours of the morning. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll try to, I don't think we're way off here. I think we're starting to, our handicapping's getting better, I think. I thought we were going to win on Thursday night. We didn't. But I think a couple of things may have just bounced the wrong way for us. I feel pretty good about these games. I felt pretty good Thursday. We lost. But, I feel okay about these games here. So, I'm, cautiously optimistic. Anyway, thanks for being here. We'll see you again. I will probably have a video for you Sunday because I've noted one thing. It's like no matter what I do or what I say or how many games we have, you get huge YouTube viewership on Sunday, which I guess basically tells me that there are no other gambling videos on Sundays. So you're all forced to come into the barn. So we will definitely have one for Sunday, I think. All right, thanks, and we'll see you again. Eric Arnold signing off.